Welcome to the Grace Channel. We are so blessed to have a special guest today, a very, very special friend that I've known for years and years. And her name is Christine Cardamon. Thank you so much, Christine, for being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be here and part of your Grace on Fire, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. And we are on radio with a conversation, and we just finished your highlight.
Yes,
and
thank you.
as it completed, we started talking about, you were sharing your angel visit from your sister. Do you want to share that with the audience?
Oh, sure. I don't. This will be a first that I talk publicly about this. I share this with very few people. But my sister passed away. It'll be actually 12 years in December. So she died about 4 days before Christmas. And our family never really celebrated Easter, but it was a big holiday. My little sister just had a baby. So we decided to do this big Easter celebration at her house. Crazily enough, everybody went upstairs, so it was only me that saw it. But I was just sitting on the bar stool, did not have a drink. I was just sitting at the bar stool, kind of thinking to myself. And across the hall, or the living room, my sister came. When my sister passed, she lost all of this beautiful hair, very similar to yours, Bonnie. You know, the deep auburn, thick, long hair, and it was all gone when she passed. But as she walked by me, it was she was in her normal wear, which was big sweater, jeans, and her long hair, and she just walked right by me. And to this day, I yell at her for not saying hello, but I've been told it took a lot of energy for her to do that. So I have to let that go.
Wow. Oh, yeah, but what a gift to have that visitation from your sister from the other side, and for you to see that. And maybe the fact that you were alone was why she came. Maybe she was not able to come if there were others there. You never know. You never really know. But it was perfect.
It was
we have
perfect.
to trust that it was a perfect visitation.
Yeah, and the longer she's gone, she does little things now. I was also sharing, I live in a high-rise building, and through people that are more in tune than I am, I couldn't decide if it was my guardian angel that wasn't keeping up, my dad or my sister. But when I walk in the elevator, a lot of times the door should be closing and it starts and then it just opens up. So instinctively, I knew it was somebody trying to make sure I knew they were there. Mm-hmm. But it has been confirmed it's my sister. So which is fun. And then she'll tickle my neck occasionally, too. So, yeah.
Just to did she tickle your neck when she was alive? Did she tickle you at all when she was alive?
You know, crazy thing, to this day, I had to tell a good, fun story at her funeral. The only thing I could remember is when she tried to tickle me to death.
Oh, that's perfect.
So now she's much more gentle, but I swear, to this day, I don't like to be tickled. Because I thought, as an 8-year-old kid, at her tickling me, I was going to die. So apparently she's toned it down a little bit for me. So
how perfect. But what a perfect way for her to come and let you know she's there, because you had that experience in the past of her tickling you.
And actually, just in this conversation, that just helped me connect the dots of the tickles. Why the tickles? So thank you, Bonnie.
Of course. I mean, we cross into the etheric. I mean, we're still very much alive. And the personality, the soul personality, not so much the human personality, but the human personality and the soul personality are not all that different, depending on how much you are evolved, how much you are deeply connected to your own being, to your own soul power. And so, it's not like you're. Of course, if she was tickling you when you were alive, and she's out flying around in the etheric realms, whether she's come back but she's visiting you in a similar way.
Yeah.
And that is always a way that they will let you know. It'll be something you can connect to and know it's them, because it's something that you experienced when they were alive. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for me, it's just very comforting to know, I really do know on a soul level we're all energy, and that, they're on to new adventures. And I've said for years, the problem with death isn't dying, it's the people left behind, to be able to go on and without them. So it's very comforting for me, because we were really, really close. I mean, in a lot of ways, I just think we've traveled so many lifetimes together. So it's it's just very comforting to know, oh, she comes and visits and says hello. And
She's still with you. Your souls are very connected. Yeah, she's visiting you. Well, I have a visitation story. It's a little different. I have a few, but let me just share one.
okay.
One visitation story. So now I'm thinking of which one. I'm going to visit. Seeing we're talking about past loved ones, I'll share with you a past loved one. Very profound, deep relationship. We dated for 7 years, and this beloved died of cancer, and it devastated me. It was just absolutely devastating, and this was back in 2000. It was 8 years ago, so minus 2016, minus 8,
2008.
yeah. And I literally couldn't eat. I mean, all I could eat. It was the strangest. The grief was so deep that it impacted my digestive system. That whenever I'd be in the grocery store, I'd feel nauseous. Thinking about food would make me nauseous. I just could not eat anything. The only thing I could eat was there was these peanut butter honey bars at the health food store, like rich,
Oh, wow.
super packed with calories and everything. But for some reason, that is the only food I could stomach. Thank God it was a healthy food.
Yeah.
It really was. It had all kinds of vitamins, and I just would pile up. I'd go to the health food store and I'd pile up on them, throw them in the refrigerator to keep them fresh, because it's all I could eat that I could stomach. And this went on for at least a month.
Oh, so quite a while.
And I did keep eating these because I didn't want to ruin my metabolism. I'd already been there, done that. And I didn't want to lose weight. I didn't want to get real skinny or anything. I liked the weight I was at, so I didn't want to ruin out my health and my metabolism. So I continued to eat them, and that's all I ate. And one morning, it was 5 a.m, I woke up, and it just sort of, you're half asleep and half awake, and and all of a sudden I'm lying in bed, and I'm just minding my own business, lying in bed, and all of a sudden I felt this embrace, surround my entire body, and it was like a hug, like a 360-degree hug around my entire body, and I could feel the pressure on me, but it felt so good.
Yeah.
It was like this etheric embrace that was very kinesthetic, very real. Very real. And I relaxed into it. I was like, oh, I felt so safe. I just felt so like the whole universe was holding me, but I could feel it was him.
Wow.
You get really familiar with somebody's energy, and he had the best embraces that it was like heaven, embraced by him. And I just felt, oh my gosh, this is him. He's embracing me. And I started talking to him, and I started just saying how much I loved him, and then before I knew it, I just fell asleep. Fell asleep, but I fell asleep in that total deep, profound peace and comfort that was really, you cannot put it into words. You can't explain it. And when I woke up the next morning, I just woke up, and I remembered it, but I didn't, walked into the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator, and I saw a dozen eggs, because my kids were young. I had to continue to feed them, even though I couldn't eat. So I still had food in the refrigerator. I wasn't going to stick them to just the protein bars. And I saw the eggs, and I thought, I think I'll cook myself up a couple eggs.
Wow,
And then
like that.
It actually took me a minute, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can eat. I want to eat. I want to eat food. I want eggs. And I took those eggs out, and I fried up a couple eggs, poured some cheese on top. And,
wow.
And it just,
Wow.
that visitation healed me of something deep that I could never put into words or describe. But literally, my whole body, my whole nervous system had shifted.
Wow.
And I had no more nausea. The grief was still there. I can't say that the grief wasn't there. It wasn't as bad, but I could eat.
Yay, and that's way important, just to be able to keep going. And you had 2 little kids, so
Yeah, they weren't too little, but they were teenagers and they did like to eat. So
yeah, no, that's a good thing for kids. Sometimes I look at people that go through tremendous loss, that having those kids, when they lose a parent, is in some ways it's got to be so hard for the parent, because they can't really grieve, but they got to go on for those kids. So, it kind of keeps that cycle of life going, and you can't get too stuck when you've got kids, because they need to have their normal. Do you ever, does he ever come and visit? Does he still give you little signs like
all
he's
the
still
time,
there, like
all
my
the
sister?
time.
Yeah.
One of the things is he had the red hair. You know him,
Yeah.
Jim, and he had the red hair. He was very proud of his red hair too. Very proud of that he was a redhead. And I remember telling him one time, I wish I could tan. And he was like, oh, no. It's good you got that fair white skin like me,
Yeah.
Oh, I really wish I could tan. But he was very proud of his skin and his hair and everything, and that was beautiful. And so he visits me often through robins.
Robins.
Foxes. And red things. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Huh, that's wild.
Yep. And I'll start to feel his presence, and then all of a sudden there'll be a red robin like right in front of me, and it'll just stay there. Or I'll be hiking, and the robin will be right in front of me for like a half hour. Just keep leading me up on the trail. But as I'm hiking, I'll feel his presence. And a lot of times that'll happen first, and then there'll be the robin or the fox. I've seen so many fox. I've never seen a fox until after he passed. But those red foxes, they'll come visit me. And he'll come visit me.
Right. And that's how he's showing you, though. Like, I don't know, in my mind, that's like proof, even though some people might not agree with us. But in my mind, that's proof.
Right.
Because
your
it
tickle,
resonates. It just resonates so much in your body that it's like, there can't be any other explanation than this is how they're communicating with us.
Well, and when you feel that presence and you recognize that same presence when they were alive. And then you feel that. And there'll be times of the year where I'll feel his presence a lot more. Christmas, for sure. Because we just had a lot of good times at Christmas. Christmas, as always, I just really feel a strong. And he passed shortly after Christmas, so for some reason, Christmas is just a big time. He's around a lot at Christmas. Yeah. Is there a time of year where your sister comes more often than not?
For me, it's been me more tuning in that she's always around. So it's been me trying to be more cognizant that, all we have to do is think about him and ask for him to come.
Yeah.
And it's getting settled into that and staying aware. For me, with the holidays, and a little different is, it's finally 12 years later, and I kind of like Christmas again, because I lost my mom, right after Thanksgiving, and then Sharon right, the same year, 4 days before Christmas. So I'm not a very, but I love going to the temple.
Seeing the lights.
Seeing the lights. It gets me in that Christmas spirit. And of course, it's kind of a sad time of year, but I really try and stay on that path. Now they're off to a new adventure. When it's my turn to go, all the people that I've lost will be there to take me with them. So, it's like, I would love to be able to see what their playing is, to see what they're playing in, because she had quite the mischievous side, but really tempered it in life. So it's like, hopefully she's up there flying high in the sky and just causing all kinds of ruckuses.
And I'm sure she is your guardian angel watching over you, and that might be part of why you feel her so often, and she lets you know that she's with you, and you can actually access her and ask her to be with you and use that power. Because what I've heard, I'm getting the sign we need to finish up, but is that we often, our angels, our guides, our past loved ones, soul family members, they can be much more of a powerfully assistant assist us much more powerfully if we invite them and ask them. And that gives them the invitation. It's almost like the same on the physical. There's not that much difference on the physical and the etheric. It's the veil is so thin that I had a friend who you would actually communicate with them very often, and the personalities were so similar from the physical and the spiritual. She'd contact the soul and talk to the soul, and there was one that she had known and was a kind of a cranky old man, and she'd visit. He was still a kind of a cranky old personality, you know, when the communication happens. So it's an intriguing subject to talk about.
It is.
It really is. And there's so much going on that we do not see. I often think that this, this physical world, which is divine, it's all made out of the divine substance, is really like the little tip of the iceberg of what's really going on right here. And we don't have access, but we do.
But when we do. We kind of also have to keep calling that in and being open to keep going, that extra step or that, at least for my spiritual journey, it seems like, okay, you get this, you get to here, then you're good there. Okay, no, now you're prompted, you got to go a little further.
Always.
So, I want to get to the point where I get to talk to them. It's like, it'd be fun.
Yeah,
like
just start journaling.
Yeah.
Because for me, I journal. I'll invite them and I'll journal and I'll just start flow writing. And if you try that, I would invite anybody listening, ask a question and just trust it and just start journaling.
I'll have to try that. I know I've been prompted to do that a couple times.
Ask her, invite her energy in, invite her presence in, ask her if she has a message, and just have your pen and start writing after you ask.
After you ask, okay.
Just start writing and just trust it and don't worry about it being perfect. Let that flow open, that channel open.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely do that.
We'll do that, and we'll be back and talk about it.
Okay.
How's that?
That sounds like a plan.
All right. Christine, thank you so much for being here for this conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully you come back again and again.
Absolutely. You just tell me when and where. You know I'm always here for you, and I so appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Well, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and may you have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste.